Now for Reporters Roundtable, to put the headlines in perspective, Bud and Ross still with us here in studio, and WFAA's political producer, Bernadine Steptoe, is also a new member of our Roundtable, starting with us last week. Thanks for coming back with us as well.
Thanks for having me back.
Let's start off with the first question. Donald Trump Jr. came out in support of George P. Bush to stay as land commissioner. The Bushes and the Trumps don't necessarily like each other, right?
Well, this Bush likes those Trumps. You know, the George P. was early in the endorsement thing on Trump, trying to distance himself a little bit from the establishment that his name belongs to, and they're coming with paybacks.
You know, George P. has played his endorsements very carefully. He's kept his cred going. But you know, this is the same week that George W., his uncle, came out saying that there's clear evidence Russia meddled in the campaign.
And that made headlines.
Well, and also in terms of what he said about payback, you know, the Trumps, they value loyalty, and Bush did endorse Trump, but however, Patterson is more of a swipe toward Patterson, because not only did Patterson not endorse Trump, he called him an idiot.
And Jerry Patterson, the former land commissioner, is running again.
Yes. Right. So it's payback all the way around for the Bushes. I mean, for the Trumps.
Let's talk about Andrew White. He got recommendations. He's one of the Democrats running for governor. Right. He got recommendations from the newspapers in Houston and in Dallas. Lupe Valdez couldn't even get the Houston LGBT support. How is she letting this slip away from her here? I
don't know if she ever was very serious. The answers she gives in editorial boards, she doesn't seem to know much about tax structure. You know, remember when she was here with us, we asked her what she'd accomplished, and she said, well, we let puppies come into the jail. You know, it was just not going to be a strong campaign.
That was her big accomplishment, she told us.
Well, and then also, when she rolled out her campaign, it looked as if it was on life support. Remember
the rollout?
The rollout.
Well, what do you mean?
Because someone leaked that she was going to run. She came out and said, no, I'm not running. And then, what, a couple of weeks later, she's, I am running. So she hasn't caught up ever since the rollout.
Right.
Wow, that surprised you at all, Ross? You've watched this a long time.
You run a campaign just like you run a business. You have a business plan, and then you go out and you hit your marks. And that campaign looks like they don't have a business plan. If they do have a business plan, they're not hitting their marks.
I've talked to some people, some Democrats, who say that they wonder if she'll make the runoff. Is that?
It's questionable.
It's questionable, you think?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've got a Yarborough on the ballot.
Well, I think she's got a good chance of getting into the runoff, solely because she's been on the Dallas County ballot so many times. It's a big county. None of these candidates are known. She's known to a little spike up in Dallas. I think that's going to get her in.
That surprise you guys at all?
She'll be there, but then what does she do between then and May?
And also, quickly, Democrats want to win. And looking at her just doesn't seem as if she can come close to Abbott.
But we talked about in this program last week, Andrew White has given to Republicans in Kentucky, and he's also personally pro-choice, even though he says that won't affect any policy decisions if he gets elected. Democrats have a choice, a tough choice kind of here to make, huh?
I think that's a little dangerous to him in a Democratic primary. I think if he can get out of that alive, I think some of that might actually help him in November.
Let's talk about briefly the last topic here on Roundtable. Empower Texans, always a player in the Republican primaries. This year they picked a fight with education groups over whether schools should encourage voting, something you and I talked about a few weeks ago. Is this going to swing any votes?
No, I think it's going to excite some Republican voters who want to run against the teachers and the educrats, as they call them. But I think that's really what it is. It's a vote effort.
There was a lot of Twitter talk this week. You know, the schools, they wanted to expose wrongdoing, all these schools that were organizing kids to go out and vote. They claimed this was wrongdoing, and the teachers piled back on that on Twitter. But let's face it, Empower Texas has been in this game a long time. Teachers groups are new at this. I'm going to go with the old experienced team.
Well, it could also increase turnout among parents to support their teachers, because to use the word whistleblower, that's frightening within itself, to indicate that you have criminals in the school system. So it could increase parents' turnout as well.
We'll see what happens March 6th. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate it. Thank you for watching as well. ABC